Hey Carp Geeks, welcome to spring 2022. It's a great time for us here at Biosource Baits. Some good stuff going on. Okay, we've made some major breakthroughs. So first things first, as you can probably see, and I'm the guy in the insert, right? So take a look at the main screen. You'll see I'm browsing our new website, right? So our new website has obviously a home page, a science page where you can go look up all kind of nerdy kind of stuff to do with bait science, and a products page, of course, where you can go and look at the various products and how they work, frequently asked questions, etc. And then, some contact information, including a newsletter. We just started a newsletter. So, if you sign up, I send you kind of quarterly updates with some neat little tricks on the products and what's in the pipeline. So, well worth it. Take a look. And probably the most important part of the website is I link to partners. Okay, so we have a US distributor and a UK distributor, and you can go directly from Impulse to links to partners, and you can, it'll take you straight to their website, and you can order as much Impulse as you want from them. The UK guy does send worldwide, so if you're having problems locating stuff in your area, he's the one. Having said that, if you are in an interesting location and you would like to talk to me about distributing in your area, maybe you're in Germany, South Africa, somewhere like that, feel free, get in touch, and there's a standard contract. All right, other things. Okay, so really happy with the website. Other things, let me just check my list here. Product update. So obviously we have the original Impulse, and based on our recent kind of tank tests and field studies, I'll talk more about those in a minute. Obviously it's working really well, and I don't think I can make it honestly any better than it is now. I think it's reached its pinnacle. So we've decided to kind of make some derivatives or variants on Impulse. Okay, the first one, and I'll show some pictures, the first one is catatonic, which is designed especially for catfish here in the United States, and it'll probably work for whales too. Obviously I haven't had any tests with whales, but I'm catching catfish all the time here with it, particularly channel catfish, which are very common to my area, but it also works for blue catfish and flathead catfish. I see if I can dig up the photo, but one time I was testing first generation Impulse, which was called Biosource many years ago, and I caught a large, probably 10-pound flathead catfish on a single grain of dosed corn, and flathead catfish don't eat corn. So that was kind of interesting. Okay, so Impulse 2.0, and anything you buy from any of the suppliers is the latest version, Impulse 2.0. Impulse, so catatonic is the liquid version of Impulse for catfish, and then I've made some what I call goops, right? So this one, hold it up there. This is the Impulse goop, which is 90% Impulse liquid. So it's essentially the same strength as what you get in the bowl, but obviously it's kind of a very thick consistency, like kind of honey or treacle or something, okay? Now this is great for adding the boilies, okay? So you need to get a minimum concentration of Impulse in your swim exceeded, call it threshold. And in the past, people were dipping just in the straight liquid, and it will just come off as it fell through the water. This stays on, okay? So this is great for kind of like spraying over pellets or boilies, whatever particle bait you like. This is the one, okay? It's got certain kind of advantages over the liquid, So liquid's great for ground bait and pellets, absorbent things, right? But this is great for more harder kind of baits, like, hard pellets or boilies, stuff like that. So it makes a nice coating. It's awesome, all right? Now, similarly, we have a catatonic version, which, the extra ingredient in here, and this one is a sweet ingredient. It's basically, in the United States, it's maple syrup, but, the UK distributor has its own unique and probably better flavor called Launch Code, which is really good. So that's the carp one, but the catfish one, I'm going to put that extra kind of ingredient will be fish oil. Okay, so that works really well for catfish. All right, so other things, obviously we talked briefly about the field studies, link up here. Went out recently, filmed nuclear carp, where for the first time I used a traditional 2-rod big carp setup, testing the bait. So one rod was dosed, one rod was undosed. And I'm happy to report that the dosed rod caught 5 fish and the undosed rod caught 2 fish. So 70% to 30% catch rate difference between dose and undosed. So a pretty spectacular result. And, I'll continue this season to practice more the 2 carp rods setup rather than, alternating baits on a long pole like match fishing style. The problem with the long pole is that I have to kind of, fish for a bit with one bait, wait, and then fish for the same amount of time with the other bait. And we've got that sloping baseline of conditions. So it might get sunnier, might get warmer, might get more windy, so it's not the best way to do it unless I have another pole angler next to me, which is kind of hard to come by in the United States. Okay. So yeah, I'll persevere with the 2-rod system. And also we've got some good testers here in the United States who I might persuade to help me out. Okay, so the field studies are working fantastic. Keep looking at the Carp Geek TV YouTube for that, and also look up there for tank tests. Now, I also recently posted our last successful tank test, and this is kind of significant because we're able, after probably 3 years, 3 years of trying to actually get the tank studies to a point where they work consistently. The problem with tanks is that the small volume fills with amino acids really quickly to the same ambient concentration. Well, what you want to emulate is what happens in the wild, which is a slow increase in concentration around the bait. And we got around this by incorporating a special device. It's not really special. We call it the chimney, which allows amino acids to kind of flow out and form a concentration kind of gradient, and this is fed by a constant feed apparatus. It's a bit like an IV tube in a hospital or something. You've seen those bags, right? But it's kind of the chemistry version. We have these things called kind of dosing burettes or dispensing burettes, which allows us to kind of leak in at a fixed rate 500 milliliters of solution. So we were dosing probably the equivalent of 6 milliliters of impulse, and we were getting outstanding results. And obviously I think you're probably watching it right now. Okay, so that's spring 2022. Any questions, comments, feel free to get in contact with us via the website. There's contact form. There's also a newsletter form where I will send you updates quarterly and some special tips and tricks for the bait. All right, see you guys next time.